Hello, I'm Donecha, coming to you tonight from Butlersbridge in County Cavan. Tremendous applause from the thousands here in the parish hall in Butlersbridge. We've got a thrill-packed programme for you. What have we got? We've got John Clancy, we've got Ernie the man who has all the answers. We've got the three wise men. We've got an exercise in ploughing, which was a real exercise for me. But first of all, we go to Butlersbridge to meet my good friend, Johnny the Lock, for what else? The World Skittles Championships. This is Butlersbridge in County Cavan, soon to be the scene of a titanic struggle between Ahalean and Butlersbridge, and I in fact will be captaining Ahalean in Skittles. I have with me here, of course, the great man of Skittles, John the Lock. John, it is very nice to be in Butlersbridge.
Yes, very welcome, Donecha. Very nice to work. And,
Before I talk to you about Skittles, would you open your coat and let us see that jersey?
Oh, yeah.
That's a very fine jersey.
Oh, yeah, but I think it's the Kerry colours, the green and gold of Kerry.
The green and gold of Kerry.
I think that famed man, footballer of Aeroplane O'Shea, played it in the old days, played in those colours.
How many trophies have you won for Skittles?
Oh, I have really a good few. I have about 8 or 9 medals and about 2 cups at the moment, and runner-up trophies in the All-Ireland. I run the runner-up in 1977 and 1978.
Is it true that there was a poem written about you when you won a tournament?
Oh, there was in the start of the Skittles, there was.
Would you remember a verse of it for us?
I would, yes. I would, yes. Would I give it to you now?
Do give it to me now.
Oh, yeah. It was on the year of 59, that summer without rain. Those gallant boys of Butlersbridge won the honour there and fame. They trained there each evening beside the old shebeen, and that is where they started their famous Skittle team. The first engagement that they had, I heard the captain say, was with those champions of the north, the men from Killalay. We assembled outside the shebeen, and we struck a darling plan, and we marched our men to Quivy, led by our Skittle band. We marched them on like soldiers, and the men in 88, but they couldn't keep the step of them when down by Anthony's gate. They even came on crutches, in thousands they did flock, for to see those men in action, commanded by the law.
Now, before we start, I think there's some little loosening up exercise.
Oh, I think you better do it.
Will you do that?
Oh, yeah,
right.
You must.
1, 2. 1, 2.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I better try, John. Will you
Yeah,
hold
right.
Will you
Up.
call me through now?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's quick enough, man.
Come on.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right, very good, very
I'm
good.
going for the mile or something.
Very good. No, yeah. I tell you.
That's unfair advantage, John the Lock. You would have now. You're going to throw. Who's going first? Call him in, the first man.
Oh, yeah, Tom Francis Brady.
All right, Tom Francis Brady. You come over alongside me and tell me what he's doing now as he throws. Now, Tom Francis Brady is taking off his coat now. Is he well known for Skittles around here?
Oh, he is. He's a great man. He's a great member of my team. He's thrown with me
he's a right-hand thrower.
20 years, yes.
What's he got first now?
He got the 10 there. He got the 4, the second one. He's not making no mistake, you see. He knows it's up again at this time. He hit a hard look there. Very good, very good.
What was the score there now?
17 scored.
Now, who'll go next? My team will go next now.
Oh, yes, your man.
One of my lads.
One of your lads.
This man here, they're retrieving the...
Edmund McManus.
The holly, and they're coming back down.
McManus. I'm throwing it past 20, up to 28 years again, Edmund. He always was a great man to...
You described your emporium as a shebeen. Why?
Well, I happen to have a few empty bottles and a wheat.
I see.
And a wheat, lad. Of course, the law...
You're putting my man off now. Hold it now. Give him a chance. Watch him now.
I'll not put him off.
Here he goes now. Good man. Lovely
We want
touch.
14 scored. Edmund is a great thrower. They got the 3.
What's that? That's 17, is
17.
it? I'm good at the addition
He beat
too.
me in the All-Ireland in Mitchelstown.
And I hope he'll beat you again today, John.
Well, no,
Not wishing you any misfortune or anything like that.
Oh, no, I know that.
You know that, you know.
Oh,
17.
17. All aboard, so
All aboard, now.
It's a good game.
Good game. Now, who's the next man in for you?
The next man is Charlie Corrigan.
Charlie Corrigan.
Charlie Corrigan's thrown with me over 25 or 27 years.
Charlie Corrigan is retrieving the...
He's one sound man. He never lets me down.
Are
He's
you
a very busy man too, but he never let me down of a game.
Are you superstitious at all about the game?
Oh, not at all, not in the least. You want to say your prayers at night, of course.
I suppose you would. The three
Oh,
Hail
yeah.
Marys. Now, here he goes.
Oh, he missed the first one, matter. Seldom he misses. And I think...
Things are looking up, John. Things are looking up,
I know
John.
they're looking,
Things are looking up.
Oh, my nerves are going.
Oh, my nerves are gone already.
Look on,
No.
he got 11. He got 11.
So what are you doing now, then?
Now, you're next man.
Another Ahalean man.
McKinnon, yeah.
Eamon McKinnon is coming. Tell us a bit
Yeah.
about Eamon now.
Eamon has been thrown.
You can't stop this man at all here, yeah?
He's very enthusiastic about the game. Eamon, he's one of the young men.
One of our own now. Up Ahalean on. Oh, that's the job. I think you don't mind, he's only psyching you out of it. Stay as you are, you're doing very well. This is a battle of nerves. Good man.
Good man, Eamon.
I think we're going ahead.
Yeah,
aren't we?
good man, gone ahead.
Oh.
Hard luck.
Are we winning?
Gone ahead by a point.
We're winning by a point.
By a point, yes.
Now, who's coming in for you now? Who's this man?
This is John Corrigan.
A very famous man
A very
indeed.
famous man.
How would you tell me about him?
He's a great musician and he...
Great singer.
Great singer,
He's
yes.
going to sing for us later, of course. Too.
Oh, well, of course, we were very good man.
We don't wish him any luck here, of course, either, naturally. Oh, he had a good
Oh,
splash.
no, I know.
Mr. Corrigan had a splash.
I know, up to the wagon now.
I think we have this game
We
in the
got a
bag.
10. I think I have it,
I
Mike.
think we have this game in the bag. Oh, we have. Who's coming next? You're next. You're next yourself.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, John Brady is throwing for us.
Well,
What about
no,
John
no,
Brady?
I'm next. Eamon's out the throne, isn't he?
But Ian Corrigan just threw there.
That's right.
This is a very difficult man here. He's trying to make complications all the time. Look. He's losing, you see. This is it, you know.
Oh, I've lost it forward over there. I mean, this is all in the game.
Sure, they were always like that in Butlersbridge anyway, weren't they, yeah? Oh.
That's one of your men, Johnny.
This is I didn't know he was.
Oh, he's a good thrower. Well, man, John.
I'm going to have a major complication here in a minute. You're next. John is next. I think we've no more. I won't eat anything, so it's all the same. What? How much are we ahead now?
You're really about 3 points or so.
3 points ahead. That's fine. 3 points.
And
ahead.
along with that, it takes a good man to go down after the like of that. Leaves me a bit nervous.
No, okay, John. John, come back. You got the sticks there. John, you're really throwing me badly. Let's get a bit of style from you now, John. Give us the Butlersbridge whip now. 2 gone. Come on, clap him on his way. Come on, clap him on his way. Come on, come on, come on.
Old Johnny played in All Ireland, you know.
I can see that I don't stand a hope in hell here.
Oh, you will, Mike.
Well, I'd say that,
yeah,
all right.
as long as you have the...
No, well, this again, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good, yeah. But you see, I'm handicapped. I got to hold the microphone in one hand.
The loch has 3 points in front.
The loch is 3 points in front. No, I'd better hold the microphone, because if our T2 lost the microphone, we'd never be back here again. Look, I know I go to the line, Johnny. Give me a chance. Whoopsie! Here we go, number 2. Oh, there's a bit less enthusiasm after that one.
I know you were not done.
Well,
Congratulations.
that's a great match, John.
Great match.
It was a great match.
Great match, surely.
Now, I think that before we leave the scene of battle here,
Yeah.
you have some people to meet, I think you have. Will you come over to this side and introduce me to this man here?
This is Mr. James Culligan. Mr. James Culligan, great friend of mine. Very hard working man.
How are you,
Very
sir?
honest man.
No.
Great man.
How old are you now?
Oh, I'm 75.
And have you worked very hard all your life?
I have.
Do you make much money all your life?
Well, I sure I put it.
Huh?
I earned a few bob all
A
right.
few bob.
Yeah.
What would you describe as a few bob now?
Well, You couldn't count that it wasn't much money, but it was money anyway.
Well, that's the important thing.
Yes.
Someone told me that you were nearly a millionaire.
Ah, nonsense.
Huh?
Ah, nonsense. Went ahead anyway. You were not.
How far away would you be from being a millionaire, though?
Take an educated man to tell you that, nor me.
And not me either, I suppose.
Yes.
Do you know John the Lock very well?
But you, good decent man.
And do you live around this part of the country?
Yes, only about two mile from here.
Seems a very quiet sort of place.
Yes, quite.
It would seem to me like the kind of country where on a dark night you get a sort of drop that you mightn't get anywhere else.
That's right.
That's right. Did you ever get a drop like that?
No.
No. You're a very shrewd man, I think.
Would you think so?
I would.
Why, what way would you?
You have the look of a shrewd man about you.
Aye.
The way you handle that stick there. Do you take any drop at all?
Not much.
You wouldn't take a drop of whiskey now, or
No,
a pint
no,
of
no.
Guinness?
No.
Ah, no, by God.
What do they want? Do they want a recitation?
Yes, we'll do a sight for us.
Yes.
Are you going to stand up?
I will.
You are a good man.
What now? I'll go to you with it.
Why not, sure. There's no charge for using the road anyway.
Would you like to hear?
We'll just hold it there. So.
No, any.
There you go now.
I should I needn't. I can. My voice. My voice is fairly strong. I don't think.
You'll have to have the microphone, because they won't hear you in the van unless you have the
All right,
microphone.
good
You see. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to give them the fighting cards.
Oh, the pack of cars, fine. Now. Well, are you going to sit? Which? The soldier.
You're the gallant soldier, please.
You're the gallant soldier, and I'll hold the microphone for you. You stay as you are there now.
What should I needn't?
You see, you have to, yeah.
Well, so now, me boys, I'll sing a song. If you listen, you are willing. I walked away one fine midday, for to take the listing shilling. So the sergeant glanced at me, and he tipped me on the shoulder. So now, me boy, come along with me. I'll make you a gallant soldier. So instead of stay, we must away. But no one can do it bolder, so front and rear, so none compare. There's all gallant, a soldier. Well, a soldier's life is a merry life. But there's one fault I find in it, that's the drilling of the poor fella. The first day they drilled me, I never will forget it. Hold up your head, says the sergeant. Goodbye, sergeant, says I. If I hold up me head, you'll never see me more. Shoulder arms, she wouldn't have me the shoulder legs, says I. Toes out, I laughed at him at that, for they were out all winter through a bad pair of shoes. Silence in the ranks, not a word out of me, more out of me head. Charge! 6 a day on my rations. I got me knapsack on me back, the fifers to play the fifes and the drummers to beat the drums. So instead let's stay, we marched away. But no one can do it bolder, the front and none compare. There's old gallant, a soldier. Well, a soldier's life is a merry life, but there's one fault I find in it. That's the drilling of the poor fella. The first day they drilled me, I never will forget it. Hold up your head, says the sergeant. Goodbye, sergeant, said I. If I hold up my head, you'll never see me more. Shoulder arms, she wouldn't have me the shoulder legs, said I. Toes out, I laughed at him at that, for they were out all winter through a bad pair of shoes. Silence in the ranks, not a word any more out of me head. Charge! 6 a day on my rations. I got my knapsack on me back, the fifers to play the fifes and the drummers to beat the drums. So instead let's say we marched away. But no one can do it bolder, so front and rear, so none compare. There's all gallant, a soldier. Well, for my promotion, I thought I got enough of it. Filter scored the knapsack up my back, for they raised me that high in the ranks. The privates used to have to come up a step ladder to salute me. No sooner were I up nor down, when up comes a cannonball and knocks me down as dead as a herring. Get up and have that, says the sergeant. How would I get up on me dead? You're not dead, says he. Well, if I am not dead, says I am speechless. And that's his boss. So after me and the sergeant contended a long time, he went away. And after some time, I was carried away with the rest of the dead. And for my promotion, I got 9pence a year and I draw quarters. That day, we marched away. But no one can do with Boulder, your front and rear, your none compare. Here's our giant high early
Well, you can always expect strange things to happen in Baker's Bridge, and this morning is no exception, because I think that in the distance I saw a man with a mask. Would you come over here to me, sir? Good morning. You're very welcome. There was a famous Frenchman, the man in the iron mask. You're not the same man?
Yes.
You are?
No, sir.
Parlez-vous français?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Now, you've come in here for a special reason this morning.
Yes. I'm from the hills and glens of Breffni.
The hills and glens of Breffni?
Yes.
You're not one of the hills of Donegal?
No, sir.
No, you're a hill from Breffni. And I think you have some present for me, have you?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
And you are going to produce that present,
Yes.
I gather?
Yes.
What is the present?
It's a drop of potching. You have a drop?
Yes. That makes me, indeed, I'm glad to see what just happened there. That makes me extremely nervous. Will I turn my back to the camera while I'm taking a drop? I won't, I suppose. Did you make this yourself?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to tell me your name? No, you're not.
No.
Of course you're not. You'd be an awful fool of a cabin man if you did. Come on, pour a little Tescon in there now. And we'll see. That you're very careful with the drop you poured in, I must say. But we have a look at it now.
Very strong.
It is very strong, like the cabin men. Well, Brishan and Doak is the whole of 114. That would make the dead come back to life.
Yes, it's good.
After send the life, it's very strong. Now,
Yes.
how would you recognise a good drop of poteen?
And you'll be tasting it.
By tasting it.
Yes.
And that's a particularly good brew, is it?
Yes.
And how old is it?
It might be 5 years, some of it.
A bit younger than yourself.
Yes.
And you're heading back, I suppose, now to the glens and the valleys and the lakes of Breffni.
Yes.
And do you sell much of this material?
I used to sell a lot of it, not now.
Well, of
About
course-
50 years ago.
Ah, yeah. There's no poteen, of course, made around here anymore.
50 years ago.
You'd have to go to Kerry or somewhere for it. Ah, yes, sure, I know that. And thank you very much. And give him a big hand as he goes away. Thank you very much. You can step back into the hills again. Sean Maguire. I think 'twas Gray the poet who talked about the ploughman plodding his weary way on his way home in the evening. But if he had seen me in Butlersbridge earlier today, 'twasn't plod, 'twas stagger. The two horses, Bob, Tom, myself staggering, a fine ploughman, Mr. Willie Foster. It's a lovely spring day for ploughing here in Butlersbridge in County Cavan, and I must say I feel a bit like the Titanic rising and sinking in the drills. Willie, you would indeed say this is a good day for it.
Oh, it is a grand day. It is a lovely day for it.
And how is the ground itself?
The ground could be drier now.
How old are the two horses?
Oh, that bay horse, he's 10-year-old. That black horse, he's 20 years of age.
That's very old for a horse, of course.
Not his, but he's in good form, he's a good horse, you know. Go on. Go on.
Did your father before you plough?
He did.
And of course, as you were saying, the young fellas nowadays, they have no time really for the
No, they
plough.
up on a tractor and get their feet off the ground, and it's good pastime for them, you know. That's the way I look at it, I don't know. But it's a great healthy life, this ploughing, you see, and you'd have a great appetite.
I'd say you would.
You would.
What would you eat after a day's ploughing now?
Oh no, you could eat 4 good meals a day anyway.
Bit of more than a boiled egg for yourself.
You could have 2.
Are they good ploughmen up around this part of the country?
Not now. All the good ploughmen, they're all dead and gone. So they used to be not good ploughmen, but they're all dead and gone.
Are you one of the last of the ploughmen around here?
Well, sure, I do try to do as best I can, you know.
You know, Willie, I was thinking there of a poem by Gray, the English poet, about the ploughman homeward plods his weary way, and I'd say if he was walking in this kind of soil, he'd certainly plod his weary way.
Yeah.
Do you feel tired after a day?
When you find the backs of your legs tired, you know. Go on, Bob. Up, Tom. Come on. That's a bike.
And would you take a break in the middle of the day?
Well, now for the dinner, you know.
And what happens to the horses?
Oh, the horses have to get the corn and the hay. Big up, big. You have to walk. You have to walk this in the autumn, you know.
I see you're working back in, yes.
Yeah, like that.
I see what you mean. The microphone sees it too, yes.
There was an old fella told me, he says you never could plough until you could walk your plough.
That's what you were just doing there.
He went like that, you know.
Is it very heavy to lift it?
Not too bad.
No, I just hold it in my hand. I won't drive it, just to, because this is something I can hardly do with the microphone. Just hold it for a second.
Hold the microphone for you.
We just hold that there. Right. Come on.
Come on, Tom. Come on, Bob.
Come on. I don't think Willie... Oh my goodness, we have a rock there.
Just lay on the handles now, keep it down.
Lie on the hand.
Go on. That's it. Go on.
I thought we'd struck a rock there for a second.
No, sure you did.
Like talking, I suppose, the trade in itself.
Oh, yeah. You are. You ever ploughed before, no?
No, I never ploughed before. I often followed a plough, though. Well, I live down near the sea. The seagulls would always come in to follow the ploughman. Do you have the birds come in after you here at all?
Oh, they do. Only just for all the commotion here the day they'd be in, you know. When they see the fresh ground turned up, you know.
Well, I'd say you never saw a man as well dressed as me ploughing before, did you? Huh?
Oh, not too bad now.
Not too bad, no.
You should have had the Wellingtons on, though.
I should have the Wellingtons, of course I should.
I should, aye.
I think my line is hardly very straight either, I'd say somehow.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
You can't look behind you.
No.
Good.
Now, Willie, will you hold them? I'll let you take over again.
Oh,
Well, that was a very interesting exercise, I must say.
hard on the wind, isn't it?
It is hard. It certainly is hard in the wind.
Go on. Go on out, Bob. Go on, Tom.
What would a ploughman earn in the old days for a day's ploughing?
Should have been very small. They were very hard, you know, in those times. I often ploughed for fellas and they expect you to do it, you know, for half nothing. About 15 bob.
That wasn't much for a day's work.
No, not at all. You know, we're out at 9 o'clock in the morning and to be sure to have the dinner, they wouldn't have it too early, you know. Go on then till evening and the tea then would come. The woman would come, you know, just hurry with the tea.
And how many spuds would they give you for the dinner?
Well, they'd give you plenty of spuds now, you know. I never was a lover of too much spuds. 2 would do me at any time, like, you know.
But I suppose they'd be a bit short in the meat, maybe.
But the woman had come in an odious hurry and she'd tell you the way she was delayed, you know.
In an odious hurry.
Aye, and it'd be only to keep you in the field, you see. She'd say she was after the sow. Go on. She was after the sow and she couldn't get her in. She was after running around the street several times and she couldn't get in the pigs.
This would be to keep the poor ploughman out all day.
And if you seen the sort of the sow, she'd be trying to get in the pigs. You seen her backbone, you could shave with it.
You could share the
What?
sow's backbone.
A Mac smile. Go on. Just like a Mac smile. And she had an eye on her like a hawk. The sow.
The sow had.
Oh, she was smarter than a woman herself, you know. Yeah.
How
Ah,
smart.
but they were good old days, them times.
Do you think they were?
Ah, well, right. But it was hard, like you had to work. Had to work very hard, you know.
How smart is a horse, would you say?
Actually get some horses and they're wiser than some of the Christians. You know. But know every move. They know if they heard a bell ringing there at 6 o'clock, if there was the quitting time, they'd stand up and you nearly wouldn't get them to move more.
Picture there, I suppose, the most famous Cavan team of all time. The team that won the All-Ireland in the Polo Grounds in New York in 1947. We have with us here various people who have associations with Cavan. Not all 47, Ray Carrollin, you'd say.
No.
What do you remember of 47, in fact?
Well, I remember as a little boy, the crowd gathering in the house at home. We had a radio in the house and all the neighbours came and there was great excitement. I wasn't very much aware of what was happening other than that there was a football match. But I remember the shouting and the clapping and cheering every time the Cavan got a score, and especially when the final whistle went.
The wet battery was jumping, I'd say.
Oh, it certainly was.
What happened at the final whistle?
Oh, everybody jumped up in the house and there was general they dumped all around the place and there was great celebrations.
And you planned to play for Cavan someday, I suppose, at that stage?
At that stage, yeah, I thought it would be nice if I could.
And didn't you so well later? Tony Tye, right half forward in the 47 team. What do you remember of that day in the Polo Grounds?
I think first and foremost I remember the heat. Like the heat was extraordinary, like what we had been used to, like nothing like it. But once the game started, like a week, well, the first 10 minutes was deplorable altogether because Kerry were all over us. And then we got the upper hand, like in the second half, and of course at the end of the game it was really fantastic. You know, we felt we had beaten Kerry at last, and particularly in New York. It was a wonderful feeling.
Cavan was home and dried in the one day.
Exactly, yeah.
Two fine bodies of men, cognizant of the fact that they were making history. And as I look down on this scene of splendor, the crowd and team do honor to the national anthem. Famous Jim Farley is over there, but the stage is set. Mayor O'Dwyer throws in the ball and the game is on. Paddy Kennedy catches a nice one. He sends it across the goal mouth. Garvey is in position, but as he crashes to the net, the whistle goes to give him a free, which is sent over by Gig O'Connor for the first score of the game. Then Stafford finishes the Higgins shot to the net. Cavan are indeed jubilant now, but more is to come. And as Higgins works his way through into a position for another goal, resurgent Cavan takes the lead. Time and time again, they repelled an attack. And with Cavan glorious and victory, and Kerry brilliant in defeat, the greatest chapter in Irish sporting history came to an end.
Now, Hugh Smith, you were secretary of the Cavan County Board for how many years?
37.
And I suppose 1947 stands out in your mind too.
Oh yes, I remember having to wait 10 years for my first All-Ireland. I was secretary in 37, we were beaten in a replay, and in 43 we were beaten again by Roscommon in a replay, and 45 by Cork. 47 I had to travel 3,000 miles to see them win, my team win the first All-Ireland.
It was worth it.
And it was well worth it. Very, very good. A great display. Started off badly, but finished excellent.
Which is the right way to finish.
Yeah.
Now we also, of course, have with us here Phil Brady, one of the famous men of Cavan teams. Phil, they called you the gunner. Why?
My grandfather was called the gunner.
And of course
So
the
it come
name
down.
was handed on to
And my
you.
father was the gunner.
You were playing centre field that day in the polo grounds, were you?
That's right.
What are your memories of that match?
I remember the first 15 minutes. Myself and Duke was in the centre of the field. And Pat Jarvie scored a couple of goals.
It wasn't going so well then.
It wasn't going so well, so PJ Duke, God be good to him, went back in on Pat Jarvie. And half of them, Cavan started to.
You had a good night in New York?
We had.
Could say that. Could say that.
And a good time coming home too, the Queen Mary.
Val Gannon, you were the goalkeeper there.
Right, yeah.
How did you feel in the first 15 or 20 minutes?
It's very hard to explain how I felt at that particular time, but as the game wore on, Cavan started to improve, and when they got ahead there was no stopping up. And when the final whistle, I was delighted to see that they were an all-Ireland crowd, that which we achieved, one of the one and only that was outside of Ireland.
Indeed, probably the only one
The
ever
only
to be
one.
won, I suspect,
That's
outside
right.
of Ireland.
That's right.
Of course, the following day, the papers, as always, had a field day, and the Irish press was saying that with great glory. And, of course, Radio Éireann, our benefactors, was saying something else. The director of Radio Éireann said there was no hitch. We never had a hitch in Radio Éireann. Tony Ty, I suppose, in a way, it was the thrill of a lifetime, was it?
It was really wonderful. When you think back of it, it's very hard to remember it, so many years ago, but at the time, I think when we played Roscommon in Grove Park in the semi-final, it was reckoned an All-Ireland final because the fact of getting out to America at that time was a most unusual thing. I mean, nobody could afford to go to the States at that particular time, and the fact that we were getting a trip out to New York meant so much to every one of us. And I think, particularly after the Roscommon match, we felt so wonderful about the whole thing. It was really wonderful.
And of course, as you said, beating Kerry is very
Well,
sweet.
I think this is really what made it more so. Anytime you beat Kerry, you feel good, but beating Kerry, like in New York, meant an awful lot to us.
This says that it ought to be indeed a great night for Cavan. Our next guest, a great Cavan man. Please welcome Minister for Education, John Wilson. John, of course it's a bit of a joke welcoming you to Cavan. You're a Mullahoran man.
That's right, yes.
What does Mullahoran mean to you?
Everything. It's about the most distinguished parish of the county. I don't say this usually when I'm outside the parish, but...
You're just modest.
Yeah, we admit that we are the best in the county, but we don't like to push it too much. Yeah.
Not a bad start, though. What's your impression, though, seriously, of Cavan as a county? Very traditional?
They have kept the traditions very well, and they've also kept a tradition which is not too popular nowadays, of hard work.
Yes.
Industry.
Not too
Yes,
popular
not too popular,
nowadays.
no.
Indeed they have. Of course, they've also kept the football, haven't they?
We have, but we could do with an All-Ireland or two.
I
hope that comes fairly soon.
I get that message
There are
now
people
and again.
working towards that end anyway. Yeah.
John, of course, when you talk about All-Irelands in Cavan, everyone talks of 1947.
Yes, that's right. It was a peak year. It was a really good year. At that time, football was very strong. The population, of course, of the county was very high, just following the war. The 40s generally, football was very good. Cavan contested 45, 47, 48, 49, and there was a great esprit de corps, great friendship among the players, and great competition at club level at that particular time.
Which makes for a great team.
Oh, very much so, yes.
What's your abiding memory of 1947?
I think my abiding memory would be a goal that Mick Higgins scored.
Can you, as they say in the papers, take us through it? Totally photographed in my mind. He got the ball about 35 yards out, and he shot towards the left, his left, but Dan O'Keefe's right. And Dan almost made it, just an inch, but it went into the corner of the net. It was a magnificent goal, really wonderful. You felt that time that was all over, did you?
I felt that it was well on the way. That was just before half-time. Yeah.
Going to America must have been a tremendous experience for the team.
In those days it was. It's a great change nowadays. People go over for a few days nowadays, but at that time it was very, very far away. The technology has changed. In fact, one of our great supporters, not from my parish now, but from a neighbouring parish, Lacan Parish at that time, was working in Dublin. He now has a very good restaurant in New York, Neary's. You probably were in.
I had a very good meal in Neary's last
night,
Patrick's night, I
and
think.
he comes over and back quite regularly. At that time, going to New York was a major achievement. The flight actually that we went on went through the Azores and then on to Gander, then to Boston. We hopped over and back.
You got good value for money, of course.
Oh, very much so.
No
Very
mere
much so.
jet setting for the Cavan team.
Oh, not at all. And we were lost for a couple of hours on that flight as well. We didn't know it, but
Just
there
as
was
well
no,
that
there
you
was no
didn't know it.
contact. Yes.
Now, of course, several of those fine men have passed on, haven't they?
Yeah. In fact, those whom the gods love die young. John Joe Riley, P.J. Duke, Bill Doonan, and Hughie Riley, who was a magnificent trainer. Discipline. Didn't ask us to do anything he wasn't prepared to do himself, and he was advanced at that stage. He used to do the rounds of the field with us and so on. At that time we had collective training, of course. We got to know each other very well, and there was a great esprit de corps. There was no bitchiness, there was no quarrelling. Just a great spirit between there were about 20, 15 and 5 subs.
This might be a good time to have the ballad, I suppose, of John Joe Riley.
Oh, lovely, yes. And it's a very evocative and a very beautiful ballad.
Let's then have the ballad of John Joe Riley, sung for us by Ian Corrigan.
In the month of November, on a cold, stormy day, I left my old home and to town made my way. I met with a young man, on the road I did go, and he told me the news of the death of John Joe. John Joe Riley has left us behind. He was called by the Lord to his faithful and kind. He's brought into heaven that proud land to show. A true son of Breffni was the gallant John Joe. Brave Clan O'Reilly, proud is your name. You've reared many sons of great honor and fame, but not even the princes of long, long ago could compare with our sportsman, the gallant John Joe. His record's a proud one, without blemish or stain. From he played his first football with fame, corn of fame, till he's laid in his cold grave o'er the wild flowers grow. A true son of Breffni was the gallant John Joe. He led Cavan to victory on that memorable day, in the final against Kerry in New York far away. The next year in Crow Park, when our boys beat Mayo, once again they were led by the gallant John Joe. In each corner of Breffni there's sorrow and pain. Such a true-hearted sportsman we ne'er see again. New players may come and old players may go, but we ne'er have another like the gallant John Joe. New players may come and old players may go, but we ne'er have another like the gallant John Joe.
Our next guest in Butlersbridge certainly doesn't need any introduction. Larry, how are you?
Very good, thank you, Don.
The one and only Larry Cunningham of the original Mighty Avens.
Isn't it good that that's all?
Isn't it great? And you're looking very splendid too.
Keeping alive anyway.
How long ago is it since you started off with the Mighty Avens?
I would say somewhere between 59 and 60.
Somewhere in between?
Well, in around that time.
And where was the first gig you had, do you know?
I remember it was in Castleblaney in County Monaghan. And that to me at the time was same as going to New York today.
Going to Castleblaney?
We left after dinner time, I think. Yeah.
And had you a good night there?
Well, we thought it was. We had better ones since though, but it was a very good start.
And I suppose the lethal question, what was the money like at the time?
Well, now, I can't remember, but it was
I
worth
guess you
thinking
wouldn't
about.
remember. That's a Larry Cunningham special. He can't remember the money. The years have been good, Larry, haven't they?
Very, very good, very lucky. We're very happy, and we do. The people who followed us around, especially in this area, deserve a lot of thanks from us anyway, I'll tell you that.
And the mighty Avens, where were you all from?
Well, basically, most of them are from Cavan area anyway. We had 3 Smith brothers from Ballyhaise, Peter, Jimmy, Paddy. Jerry Walsh, bass player, he was from Ballyhaise. With Brian Finlay, the drummer, he was from Cavan Town. Then we went abroad to Monaghan for Ronnie Griffiths.
You emigrated for him,
That's
of
right.
course.
But then, of course, another Cavan man was Mickey Brady. He was from Lara, on the way home to Dublin. And then I was a stranger, I was from Longford.
You were the odd man out.
That's right.
How do you account for the great number of dance bands and show singers up around this part of the country?
I don't know. We hadn't that many at the time when we started. That's maybe 22, 23 years ago, whatever it was. But I think they thought it was so easy that they mushroomed up a lot.
And then many of the mushrooms faded away, of course, after that.
Well, probably they were picked up.
Now, we're going to go out to have a look at yourself and the mighty Avens as you were, as you are, on Butlersbridge. Who will we see?
Well, we will see all the men I've mentioned, the 3 Smith brothers, and Jerry Walsh, Mickey Brady, myself, and Ronnie Griffiths. But by the way, one of the Smith brothers is pretty ill at the moment, and we hope to see him out very soon. Jimmy, he's not in the caravan.
Jimmy, we wish you well. Well, Larry and the mighty Avens, welcome to Butlersbridge.
Last night I had a pleasant dream. I woke up with a smile. I dreamt that I was back again in dear old Erin's Isle. I thought I saw Loch Allen's banks in the valleys down below. It was my lovely Leitrim where the Shannon waters flow. I stood enchanted by the scene of grandeur and delight. I headed off for Carrick Town before the dark of night. I passed Shimon, that fairy hill where flowers wildly grow, and I saw the grave of Ben McCool where the Shannon waters flow. The next I saw was Fenagh town with her ancient abbey wall, where the preaching of her holy monks re-echoes through her hall. I stood with reverence on the spot, reluctant for to go from the town of saints and sages where the Shannon waters flow. I've traveled far through these great lands, from the east unto the west, but of all the islands I have seen, I love my own the best. And if ever I return again, there's one place I will go. It will be to lovely Leitrim where the Shannon waters flow.
Ernie Seaman, I'll begin by asking you a very impolite question. What height are you?
I am 6 feet 6 or 6 feet 6 and a half in height.
I suppose you're the tallest man around Red Hills, are you?
Well, out from there's one other man roughly about the same height as I am. He lives in the village of Red Hills now.
You never have a tussle with him, no?
Oh no, no.
You're a mild sort of man.
Yes, I'm a mild. Yes, I'm not an aggressive type now.
No, you're not. Ernie, who won the All-Ireland Senior Football title in 1890?
Oh, Cork won it in 1890 by 2 goals and 4 points to a single point for Wexford, and Corky Dá Cool agus Cahar Coolini agus Coolina Wan ag Gorman.
Now let me take you to, let me see what we pick. The 1931 senior hurling final, who won that?
Oh, that was the 3 times in a row. That was played on 3 times because there was 2 draws and then the third attempt. Oh, Kilkenny and Cork drew at a goal and 6 points, and then it was 2 goals and 5 points each, and then it was 5-8 to 3-4. The Cork men won it by 5-8 to 3-4. Isn't that correct now?
You're an extraordinary man. How many times did Kerry win the All-Ireland?
They won it on 24 occasions.
Could you have a trial of telling us when?
Well, in 1903 and 1904, that's 2, and 1909 is 3, and 1913 is 4, and 1914 is 5, and 1924 is 6, and 1926 is 7, and 1929 is 8, and 1930 is 9, 1931 is 10, and 1932 is 11, and 1937 is 12, and 1939 is 13, 1940 is 14, 1941 is 15, 1946 is 16, 1953 is 17, 1955 is 18, 1959 is 19, 1962 is 20, and 1969 is 21, the coming of age, the 21, and 1970 is 22, 1975 is 23, and last year, 1978, was 24.
Ernie, how do you do it?
Well, they say I have a photographic mind, I think you'd call that now.
The memory man from Red Hills?
Yes.
Have you ever been to an All-Ireland final?
No, unfortunately no. I haven't been to an Ireland final yet now.
And how do you know all these facts? How do you learn them?
Well, I have studied it out of a book of history at the GAA, and I have learned it. I put in some time learning it now, because it's very difficult to get it off correctly, because you can just have it one day and it could go away, but I just keep studying it and it comes back again.
When you were going to school, were you able to learn poetry very easily?
Oh yes, I could pick it up quite easily now.
Can you remember some of the first little verses you ever learned?
Oh yes, I can. I have one about the pony.
Go on.
Here comes the pony, his day's work is done, and down to the meadow he now takes a run. Up go his heels and down go his head, it's time little people were going to bed. I learned that when I was around 6-year-old now.
You talked about Kerry winning the All-Ireland in 46. I think they beat Roscommon, didn't they?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
No, they didn't win it in 47.
Oh no, our county, Cavan, won it in 47. They beat Kerry by 2 goals, 11 points, to Kerry's 2 goals and 7 points. And the half-time score was Cavan 2 goals and 5 points, Kerry 2 goals and 4 points. At one stage, Cavan was doing very badly. Kerry was 2 goals and 4 points to Cavan's 2 points. I think it was that at any rate. I've read that up that they were 2-4 to 2 points. Kerry was 8 points in front, and yet Cavan was ahead at half-time by a single point, 2-5 to 2-4. And went on to win by 2 goals, 11 points to 2 goals and 7 points.
What about 1954 now? How will that strike you?
Oh, that was the year that Meath beat Kerry by a 6-point margin by 1 goal and 13 points to Kerry's 1 goal and 7 points. And the following year, Kerry beat Dublin by 12 points to a goal and 6 points. And Cavan and Kerry drew in the semi-final. Cavan had 2 goals, or beg your pardon, Cavan had 1 goal and 13 points, and Kerry had 2 goals and 10 points. And Cavan was winning by 1 goal and 12 points to 1 goal and 10 points, and then Kerry got a goal, and then Cavan levelled it off at a point. It was 16 points apiece when you bring it into points.
I'm looking at you there now, before you finish that, rattling off all these facts. And you're
Yes.
6'6", you're a big man.
Yes.
And to have that kind of head and to remember all these things must take a fair bit of food. What would you eat for your breakfast?
Well, I could eat anything up to a half a dozen of eggs and a half a pound of sausages and two pieces of bacon, 2 slices of bacon, I should say.
A half a dozen eggs?
Yes.
Do you keep hens?
Oh yes, I have some bantam hens there now, but the eggs are very small.
Sure, half a dozen bantam eggs wouldn't go anywhere with you, I'd say.
No, I could eat a dozen and a half, because eggs, they are quite small.
What about challenge you to drink pints now, or eat eggs, or drink eggs?
Oh, they did what they failed on that now.
Where did that happen?
Oh, up at a man the name of Mr. Fortunes, I had 22, or beg your pardon, I had 26 raw eggs in one after the other.
26?
Yes, in a challenge now.
That was a misfortune, not a misfortune.
That's right. Yes.
And the other man, how many did he have?
He roughly a dozen. I think about around a dozen.
Here you are now, look. Fine big man, 6'6".
Yes.
You know everything about Gaelic games. You have 10 bantam hens.
Yes.
And a rooster.
Yes.
You've got a fine bicycle.
Yes.
You have a house to colour television set. Have you any woman?
No, I have none now. No, I have no woman in the house now.
No, what sort of woman would you look for?
Well, one, about 5'4" or 5 or...
5'4" or 5?
Yes. Well, not too tall a one now.
She certainly couldn't look down on you anyway. Really.
No, she'd be some height, unless she put on very high heels now.
It's very hard to categorise our next guest. I called to his house one night about 2 years ago. Well, one morning, I generally call in the morning time, 1:30 a.m. Come in, he said, did you travel far? I said, I did, from Dublin. I must go back in the morning. Not at all, he said, you'll stay for 3 days. I've been coming back 12 times since to meet my good friend, Butlersbridge good friend, John Clancy. We're here in a place of sheer magic, a new thatched cottage in Butlersbridge in County Cavan. First of all, I want to ask you a few questions about what you have here. That, I believe, is a griddle pan there, is it?
That's a griddle pan, yes. For making oaten bread. It's a griddle pan. You put over the fire and you make the oaten bread on that.
And you would make it on such an open fire as that?
You would, yeah. Just put brown paper over the oaten bread.
And indeed, in the old fireplaces, you were saying to me, they didn't have a crane as such. They
no.
only had a strut.
They only had a strut across, a piece of timber right across there, you can see there, and the chains hung on it. Later on, the crew came after that.
And if we can sort of step out here now and look at the breast piece, what is that made of there?
That breast was made of sticks, as you can see, like a basket affair, all made of basket, and it's all wooden. The whole chimney is wooden from the top up. And then you make a basket affair first, and then you throw cow manure and clay until you blind the whole basket from inside and outside. You keep throwing the cow manure and clay, which is a mixture together, and then you whiten it.
You want plenty of cows, John, wouldn't you?
Plenty of cows around here.
I suppose there are. Now this piece of wood across under the breast piece.
That's bog oak. That's all bog oak. Goes right through from one end to the other.
Now, of course, John, this cottage, it looks an old cottage, but in fact, of course, it is not.
No, it's only about 3 years old.
And how did it come about? How did it happen?
Well, we started to build a museum here, and first we started to build this cottage, and I wanted to build an old mud wall cottage, and I thought that we started off to build it. We looked around to see and found out if anybody had built one, and we couldn't find anybody that had built one in the last number of years. We found a lot of them in the mountains, but we didn't find anybody who could really tell us how to build the outside walls with clay and rushes without using any stones.
No stones
No
at all?
stones at all.
And how long did it take to build it?
We made a lot of mistakes at the very beginning, and so talking to old people, and we got different ideas. We got the wrong ideas at the beginning, and then we talked to different people, and we found out how to do it.
And what do you expect from it now? What do you hope to do with it?
Well, we hope to open a museum, and this will be one part of it, like, you know. And we hope to open it, and that people will come and see the way that people lived, and right up from the middle of the last century, right up to date, bring it right up to date. Not
Now,
just keep it.
Before we talk about the museum, let's look at your open fire. The open fire, the hearth down on the floor. That's a very traditional fact.
It is, yeah, it is. And a stone at the back. We can get everything for it. The only thing we're missing is crickets. Crickets, no more crickets in Ireland. We haven't found crickets in any part of Ireland. And the old people tell me if I keep using the turf, eventually the crickets will come back.
They used to say crickets, some people say they were lucky, more people say they weren't.
The old people thought they were very lucky.
Now, you have something else which looks like a gravestone here. What is that?
Well, you see, this floor isn't completely finished yet. We have to get clay and put the clay over it. You came too soon, like, you know, we haven't got it really finished yet. What they used to do was they used to get open up a hole in the ground and put down horses' skulls, and then put a flag across and dance on it. And then in later years, it was a big pot to put And there's many stories about dancing on the Hearthstone.
The horses' skulls were for echo, were
They're
they?
for the echo, yeah.
Echo
They had-
machines
they had
in
a lot of-
Butlersbridge. Have you any horses' skulls down
No,
there?
no, it's a big pot we have under there.
This is the sort of place that would delight a man like Sean Maguire to play.
That's right,
obviously.
that's correct, yes.
Another thing I noticed in the old houses too, they would always keep the horse's collar near the fire.
They always kept the horse's collar, they kept it dry.
Always keep the straw dry, of
Keep the
course.
straw dry, yes.
It's always a great pleasure to come to Butlersbridge, and an even greater pleasure when you find a fine reception there and you head on to Cavan Town for the International Song Contest. Then, of course, the pleasure is great when you meet your friend Tom Moore. Tom, whom I met several years ago. You also meet, of course, Maura Maloney and Anne Lennon, the two fine organisers of the contest. Happy to say, of course, that friend Tom won both categories, international and home. Welcome him now as he sings for you his own song, the Cavan Song.
As I walk the road from Kilnishandra, weary I sit down, for it's 12 long miles around the lake to get to Cavan Town. Though out around the road I go once seemed beyond compare, now I curse the time it takes to reach my Cavan girl so fair. Now autumn shades are on the leaves, the trees will soon be bare. Each red gold leaf around me seems the color of her hair. My gaze retreats to find my feet, and once again I sigh, for the broken pools of sky remind the color of her eyes. At the Cavan Cross each Sunday morning, there she can be found, and she seems to have the eye of every boy in Cavan Town. If my luck will hold, I'll have the golden summer of her smile, and to break the hearts of Cavan men, she'll talk to me a while. So Sunday evening finds me homeward, Killishandra bound, to work the week till I return and court in Cavan Town. When asked if she would be my wife, at least she'd not said no. So next Sunday morning, rouse myself, and back to her I'll go. As I walk the road from Killishandra, weary I sit down, for it's 12 long miles around the lake to get to Cavan Town. Though walked around the road I go once seemed beyond compare, now I curse the time it takes to reach my Cavan girl so fair.
Well, it's been a great day, it's been a great night in Butlersbridge. We've had a wonderful time in Cavan, and as Hughie might say, I tell you folks, most sincerely, we've had the best time we ever had. I'd like to thank you all for taking us into your homes and your hearts, for your kindness, for your Irishness, for all the traditional culture of this great county. It's been a memorable visit for us, and for the whole crew in Donnacha's Travelling Roadshow. Good night. God bless. Don't forget, though, see you tomorrow on Highways and Byways. Good night. God bless. Whenever I think of musical perfection, I think of Carolyn, Trelech o Caroline, the last of the harpers, the last indeed of the blind harpers. Whenever I think of musical playing perfection, I think of Sean Maguire, the fiddler. When you put one with the other, then you really have something, an experience you'd never forget, such as Blind Mary by Carolyn, played for us by Sean Maguire. How would you like a cure? A man said to me in Cavan, and of course I knew precisely what he meant because he introduced me to Walter Blair and Willie Gumley. In fact, at that time, I needed a cure, a physical cure, rather badly. I had sprained my wrist, and thereby hangs a tale.
I have cures for gallstones and all kinds of kidney troubles and lung troubles and cures for jaundice. I discovered that butters and cure jaundice the same as gallstones.
And you come from Killishandra?
I come from Killishandra, yeah.
Now, where did you get the cure?
For my mother.
And how many years have you had it?
Well, I've had 28 years today.
Now, I wonder if you had gall problems yourself, could you cure yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
And have you done that?
Yes, I've cured gallstones in my own body.
And how do you do the cure?
Make a bottle from herbs I get from London, or from England now. It's not from London that farmers can do, but I'm making from further up in London or in England.
And how do you know which herbs to use?
Well, I know the herb, because I write some for the herb I use.
Are you going to tell us what herb you use?
I can't do that, so I'm sorry.
That's a state secret?
Yes, I can.
Now, Willie Gumley, your particular cure is for the strain
Yes.
or the sprain.
Yes.
Where did you get this?
Well, it was left down to me by my mother.
And how long have you had it?
Around 20 years.
Do you remember your mother curing people?
Yeah, surely. Way down the years from I was a wee lad, she cured several. Yeah.
And where used they come from?
Oh, they came from Butlersbridge and Cavan Town and several places.
And you yourself have had the cure since that time?
Yeah, she left me down the cure and I have the cure now.
What was the toughest sprain or strain you ever had to cure?
Well, the toughest cure I ever had to do was a lad, he had an accident with a motor car. And he had been in the surgical for weeks and he had been no better, it was just all his shoulder. So he came to me and the evening that he came, he couldn't take off his clothes. He had to take off his clothes, he wasn't fit to do it. So like I had to take off his clothes and get the cure done for him, and I said to him, well, if you like now, come back today on Thursday. Thursday and Mondays are the days for doing it. It happened to be on a Wednesday that he came. So he came back, so he did on the Thursday, and he was fit to take off his own clothes and all.
That's really something, Walter, isn't it?
And he had been in the surgical and he'd been x-rayed and what have you. Of course I had different people, I had ladies and small children.
Now, I hate to ask you what might be an impertinent question. How would you manage with a lady if she had a complaint on a very nice knee?
Well, it's like this, you see, I'd always perform the business because it's like this, you see, it was necessary to do it, and when she was willing, you see, of course I didn't mind. So
I suppose you didn't.
No, not no way.
And they were mostly willing, I'd say.
Yeah.
As you were a very charming gentleman.
They didn't mind, you see, because I had my hands nice and soft, you know, I wasn't out ploughing like you this morning.
Like, indeed.
And getting my
nice,
hands all
nice
rough.
and warm.
Yeah.
Walter, of course, you have no problems like that.
No, not like that, no.
Did you have people coming to you who seemed to be hopeless when they came?
I did, yes.
Can you tell us about any of
Well,
them?
I can tell him a man from Killinelec come the Christmas week there past, Mr. Shorten from Killinelec. And he says, you're a marvellous man. So how do you make that out? Well, he says, you cured me 20 years of a very serious complaint connected with my kidneys. And I'm bringing a daughter here today to you that they get 2 bottles. And they said, the 2 bottles you give me the first time I come, I hadn't to take them all till I was cured. And I've been with the 5 or 6 doctors before I come to you. I said, I know that, I'm sure of that. So he says, my doctor, and I don't know how it turned out the doctor, I can't say that yet.
You know, you mentioned there also, Willie, that Monday and Thursdays were the days for curing.
Yes.
How's that?
Well, it's just the days that has been left down, you see, for the cure, Monday and Thursday.
Well, I say it doesn't matter anyway.
Well, I have done it different days and like it has been a success, but like I like the Monday and the Thursday for sure.
Now, today, of course, is Wednesday, as we know.
Quite
and
right.
Willie, some nights ago, I fell down the stairs, the National Stadium in Dublin, and I gave my hand a fair wrench.
Yeah.
It's almost better, but will you have a look at it for me?
Well, yeah, I sure will. Well, have you been with your doctor? Or
I haven't
have you
been
had
with
a
any
trade?
doctor, not at all, no,
Yeah.
no.
Well, it can't be too bad.
No.
Because I saw you out ploughing there this morning, and mind you, you didn't seem to be too bad, and,
Not
and
too
another
bad.
big stone you got it.
Indeed I did, yes.
Yeah, well, I'll just do the cure
But
for
if
you.
I get an expert, it's nice to
I
see
tell
him
you,
doing the
the case happened at our house in my mother's time. There was a man who carried down, Mullandara.
One second now, Walter, I'll be with you in a minute. What are you doing there now, Willie, obviously? What does that mean?
That's a secret for me.
Everything is a secret in Cavan, it appears.
This is a secret.
Are you saying a prayer there?
So
now?
long as you get cured, you see, that's the whole of it.
Just true,
You
mind
see,
your own
you haven't
business
a
and be
mind-
cured,
Yeah,
right?
you haven't to mind me.
Right.
This is all you want.
Right.
Hold tight.
Right, yes. You have a fairly strong pull in the hand, I tell you.
You'll be all right. And if you're not, call back at Thursday.
In olden, more darker days, I suppose, Irish music was proscribed for the reasons that our masters thought that 3 or 4 gathered together playing fiddles and flutes and bodhráns were planning at the very least revolution. So the Irish, being a very crafty race, as some would say we still are, decided let's do it with the lips, and they called it gob music or puss music. Today, of course, we are grander. We call it lilting. Meet now one of the finest lilters of them all from Cavan, Seamus Fay.
Hey,